Yeah, it's going to be content fill call. I'm going to show you a strategy that you can execute to generate leads with Content Gorilla. Now, before I get into that, I want to explain why we're doing this session today. So, you bought Content Gorilla about 3 weeks ago now, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we have a lot of new updates coming out every single week. We've been working around the clock to resolve any issues that people had with some WordPress site authentication, and anything else that comes up, we try and get on top of that. Plus, we also have a lot of features that we have planned to develop moving forward. So you're going to see a lot of movement there. But the thing is, I look at Content Gorilla as a stepping stone in your business. Content Gorilla is not the final goal for you. I mean, sure, you can curate content from YouTube videos and put it on your blog. That's good. But we expect Content Gorilla to do much more for you in your business than just create your blog posts, right? And with that in mind, I wanted to do the session today so we can we can talk a little bit about what else can you do with Content Gorilla? How can you utilize it for list generation? Now, before I get into that, I want to do a quick poll here as well. I mean, we kind of did that in the Facebook group too, but seeing that you're here now, it'd be good to do a quick live poll and see what you think back. Let me see if I can actually do it while we are in the session. Well, I think it'll be a bit messy to do it now. But instead, I'm just going to ask you straight up. Do you want to build a list, yes or no? Simple question. Do you want to build a list, yes or no? Okay, good. Yes, yes, yes. If it's a no, by the way, I mean, that's an instant disqualifier. You might as well leave the session. That's okay. It is a pure training session. Just so you know, if you're wondering, is there going to be a replay? No, unless you follow the directions I gave in the email that I sent yesterday and this morning. So there's a caveat to it. Okay, cool. So you all want to build a list. That's good. I'm happy about that. To me, I want to explain first of all the difference between having a list and not having a list. The thing is that content marketing works really well. Like we do it for our core product IV as well, and it works really well over a long period of time. If you want to do slow, organic, SEO-based content marketing, it's going to take you between 6 to 12 months to really get it right. I mean, to get 10,000 visitors a month to your blog, to your website, that's good. But it doesn't quite solve your short-term issues of say, hey, I want some money right now. I want to go on a holiday, or I want to pay for the kids' tuition. I want to be able to afford healthcare for my parents or whatever. Content marketing won't pay for that right now. I mean, really, it's like investing in your future, but you need money right now as well. So I look at lead generation, list building, as a way to pay for things you need right now. If you have a list, you can literally send out an email today, wake up tomorrow morning, and you have money in your bank account. So to me, it is very crucial to have a list that you can rely on. It could be a Facebook list, a Twitter list, LinkedIn list, doesn't matter. I mean, I like email lists because I think that's the most controllable one. That's something that, you can, if someone bans you, for example, let's say Aweber bans you, you can move to GetResponse. They ban you, you can move to SendGrid and all that. But if Facebook ban you or if they close down your group, your fan page, there's not much you can do about it. All the money you had, everything that you had built up, you lose all of that in an instant. So to me, it is very crucial that you create an email list if it wasn't already clear so far. Now, in this case, because you have Content Gorilla, we'll be focusing on that. We'll be talking about how to use the awesome YouTube videos that you find to create a list for yourself. Now this is, I think some of you got that email as well a few days ago. I mentioned this is part 1 of the webinar. Part 2 is paid. I'll talk about that more at the end, how you can get access to that. But on today's session, we'll talk about how you can use the YouTube videos to generate a list within your business. That's going to be our core focus. I don't have a lot of slides. I have some slides, but I'll be drawing things. I'll be showing you things on a screen. So we'll focus more on that. But there are 3 key things that I want to share with you today. So today, I want to talk about how to curate viral content for social media with Content Gorilla. This is important. We're going to curate viral content for social media, which means that you will be able to attract audience to it very quickly. You'll be able to engage audience to that, as well as you'll be able to sell to audience using that particular content. Then we'll talk about how you can build list-style value bombs that get insane shares and how to do this without writing a single word, right? So the value bombs are important because I don't know if it happens to you, but quite often when I'm browsing Facebook, I come across these really lengthy posts and I read them all the way through because they're really, really awesome. I mean, this person's documenting their entire SEO plan. They're showing how to do product launch. They're talking about how to do graphic design, whatever. But these kind of value bomb posts get you a lot of engagement. They position you as an authority. And that's what I want you to do here as well, using Content Gorilla. Because if you do all that, you build your social media assets, as a result of which you build your email list as well. But the key thing is that I don't want you to write a single word in doing that. Of course, if you do write a little bit, it's good because you personalize it. But even if you don't want to, even if you're feeling lazy, you can still put out good content there with the right attribution, and you can impress a lot of people. So that's what we'll be focusing on today. Does that sound good? Give me a 1 if that sounds good, and then we will move forward. Okay, I think William was really quick on the trigger there. Already 1 coming in. And like I said, this session is completely free. There's no catch. I'm just going to share a lot of value training with you. I'm going to talk about the part 2, which, like I said, is paid. But today, this is going to be just focus on value. Okay. Let me just see a couple of questions, but please note that number 1, no, this recording will not be in your back office for Content Gorilla because this is a bonus session. It was never promised. I never intend to release this publicly. You're watching this live, so please enjoy it. I mean, I have a recording, but as I mentioned earlier, it's available only to a few people. The second thing is, how can I use this to build a list with older adults on the internet age? Okay, I'll talk about it in a little bit. Is that okay? Because it's a big question, so I want to come to that after I've delivered a bit more content today. But really good question. I mean, I like it, so thank you for asking that. Okay, as I said, we'll do some terrible drawing. By the way, I wanted to show you this because this is just something, I had a session before this one. I'm at my in-laws right now. For midsummer I was here, and limited internet, so I did a very quick session earlier where I talked about building a lead waterfall. It was a good system, good method. Maybe I can share that recording with you. I'll discuss that at the end as well. But for now, let's get rid of this. Okay. Now let's go ahead and then talk about, as I said, using Content Gorilla to build a list. Right, we'll focus on that. Don't think I can underline it. Nope. Okay. So our singular goal with Content Gorilla in this case, I mean, there are many different ways of using Content Gorilla, right? But our singular goal today is to build an email list. Like literally everything that you're going to do, that I'm going to show you today, is going to be with the intention of building an email list for you to monetize. You are going to be building your Facebook fan page, your groups, your YouTube channels, Twitter feeds, LinkedIn groups, whatever along the way. But the end result has to be an email list. Like you absolutely must do that. So let's put Content Gorilla in the middle and everything else goes alongside it. So let's talk about this. What is the key benefit of Content Gorilla, or key few benefits if you can think about it like that? So to me, one of the key benefits of Content Gorilla is the fact that I can quickly, let me just go to the size up. Okay. Quickly curate content, right? So I don't need to write any content from scratch. It can all be kind of done nearly instantly, right? And if you do it right, quality of content is high, right? If you do it right. This is very critical as well, because if you don't, then, the content's going to suck and no one's going to pay attention to what you're doing. So the first one is speed. So I'm just going to write it as one word. Let me just put that there. Speed, quality, right? That's the second one. And the third one is the frequency. So I don't know about you, but and I wouldn't call myself lazy, but a lot of other things come up in my business and personal life. I have a 8-month-old kid, and I spend a lot of time with him because I don't want to miss these times when he's growing up. Everyone tells me these are very important times for you, so I try and really live them. And while I'm doing all of that, I can't always write content the way I want. If I rush it, the quality isn't good enough, right? If I write it, I can't do it frequently. I can't do it every single day. So the benefits that Content Gorilla provides to you is speed, quality, and frequency. And that's what I need you to remember, please. Because if you have all these three down, even two of those down, then you're going to create some awesome content that would brand you really well. Again, please remember, I don't want you to steal anyone's content. I'm still asking you to give attribution, give credit where it's due. But by using Content Gorilla, you're able to build high quality content with a lot of speed and with high frequency as well. So those are the benefits of Content Gorilla. And now we're going to use them to build a list. So when I talk about building a list, remember my focus is on email lists. So I'm just going to put, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put an email inbox over here, right? So everything must lead back to your email list. But I want you to then use multiple different social media channels to build that email list. And it's okay if you don't want to use a particular one because maybe you don't like Facebook, that's fine. Maybe you don't like Twitter. I don't like Twitter, right? So I'm not going to use that. But if your market sits on LinkedIn, then you go to that. If your market sits on Facebook, you go to that. If your market sits on a forum, then you go to that. Maybe they're on Quora, Reddit, wherever, all these places, it doesn't matter. The point is that Content Gorilla gives you a big source of evergreen content, right? And then what you're doing is you are utilizing channels like Facebook, let's say fan pages. Okay, I'm actually going to just, I think, do writing. I think it'll be easier. Okay, so you can use, there we go, fan pages, groups, YouTube channels. I'll explain each of them. Don't worry if you can't connect the dots yet. Quora, Reddit, LinkedIn, Twitter, WordPress.com. I mean WordPress, or I think Tumblr doesn't exist anymore. Medium, and all these different places. So you can use, for your content marketing, you can use all of these different channels to generate leads. And I'm going to basically on this call give you a map of how to do all of that. So let's jump into Content Gorilla. Okay, so let's go there. I'm going to find a video on a very broad topic of relationships, right? Because I think the various different markets you can choose. You can choose health, wealth, relationships, whatever you want. I'm going to choose relationships. And as always, I'm going to find a video with Creative Commons license because there I have more rights. Okay, 8 reasons to be in a relationship, 5 signs to leave a relationship, Tony Robbins' relationship advice for women, and let's see, there's some more, 5 types of unhealthy sibling relationships, 6 signs your partner is using you, 5 signs you're ready for sex. All these different topics, right? I'm going to pick this one, 5 signs to leave a relationship. Let's see if the content is actually any good. I'm not going to watch the video just yet, but I'm just going to see if the content that I get from Content Gorilla is good. Okay, so just reading that, relationships can be tricky, they're amazing when they're going well, blah, blah. Okay, honestly, this looks pretty good to me. I don't know about you. I mean, what do you think? On a scale of 1 to 10, browsing quickly, do you think it's a good post or it's a bad post to use on a blog for now? 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, whatever you want. I think it's a good, I think it's without editing, I can get a lot out of this. I can at least get 6 or 5 signs to leave a relationship. So whenever there's discussion now, I see online about should I leave a relationship or not, you can always refer back to this and see, okay, the conditions that you've described, are they one of these 5 signs, right? So Let me see. Okay, a lot of people are saying it looks pretty good. Good, yeah, it does. And again, I just kind of ran the ad and planned it. So if I go back to this, let's say if I'm hanging out on, if I have a fan page, and you should as well. I mean, even if you don't, you should have a fan page. You should build one, and you don't need to drive a lot of traffic to it. You don't need to drive paid ads to it at the moment. You just need to have one where you can brand yourself. So, for example, in this market, my fan page could be relationship advice, or Neil's relationship corner, something like that. And I would publish a very simple post on my fan page, maybe documenting a story. I would take this, let's say, I would just take this part. Relationships can be true, they're amazing when they're going well, but if something happens and you're on a rocky road, they can be painful. If you've been with someone a long time, you can start and get stuck in a routine. You might not necessarily notice the behavior of the other half because it's becoming the norm to you. So I'll take this, just this part, and I'm going to open up a notepad for a second. Right? And then I'm going to put something here. How do you find, or how are you doing, or let's say, sorry, if you are in a long-term relationship, how's that going for you? Right? That's it. Can you see? Like, I'm not taking the entire post here. I mean, the post is 700 plus words. I've just taken one part of the first paragraph and I've turned that into a blog post, into a Facebook fan page post. Okay? So this is all I'll do. I'll take this post, I'll put it on my fan page with an image. I think these days Facebook also has integration with Pixabay or something else. But there are a lot of free image places out there. Like you can get, again, just Google and you can find images with Creative Commons license, and you can make this post on your fan page. So if you did that, if you ask this question at the end, and this is very important for engagement, you have to ask the question in the end. Do you think it's going to get you engagement? Do you think it's going to get you responses if you had a few people on your fan page? If it's a brand new fan page, of course you're not going to get any responses, in which case, you tell your friends to join, you tell your family to join, and you continue driving traffic to the fan page from your website or wherever else. You post about it in various groups, all that different things. But if you were to make this post, will it help you grab engagement? Yes. Richard says yes, Hans says yes as well. And please, by the way, in this session as well, stay engaged, because if you stay engaged, if you respond more often, I'm more excited to share things with you. If the crowd starts dying out, my mojo starts dying out. Okay? So again, all I had to do was find that video, take first part of this post and put it up there, right? If I go back to the video now, taking a step back and looking at relationship from different viewpoint can be really beneficial to help you gain perspective on a scenario. Then I could take this content. So let me take this one. Right? I can take this and I can post this on Twitter. Right? I can say, whenever people struggle in a long-term relationship, taking a step back and looking at your relationship from a different viewpoint can be really beneficial. Right? Do you agree? Simple thing. Simple question. And then with Twitter, of course, you can use hashtag relationship, hashtag, I don't know, relationship troubles, whatever you want to put that in there. That's a different thing on how to post on Twitter. But I can take the same post, another line from it, and I can put this on Twitter. Now, do you think that will get some engagement? Probably faster than an empty fan page would, right? Because in Twitter, if you use hashtags, people are going to find it and they're going to be like, yeah, this is very true. I had this. Or you can, instead of asking, do you agree? You could ask, what's your story? Tell us what happened to you, right? So you can use this as a mechanism to also drive engagement on Twitter, right? Larry says you also are trying to get people to comment by asking such an open-ended question. Exactly. I'm asking a very open-ended question. I'm asking them about their personal life. And remember, people love to talk about their personal life, even if it's negative. Even if it's negative, they're happy to open up to strangers online. It's kind of strange that we do that instead of talking to someone we love and have problems with, right? So again, same piece of content I've taken and I've now posted on, let's say, on Twitter as well. And then if I go back, you have your groups as well. So maybe you run a group on relationships. You can do the same thing there. Let's say you have a YouTube channel, right? So what you can do there is you have this long video. So you've got this entire article. Now, I'm not asking you to take this entire article and recreate an entire video from that, right? That would be more or less stealing, right? Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to take, let's say, this paragraph, and you're going to turn that into a short 2-minute video. So you're going to get on a camera, or you don't have to. You can create a PowerPoint like I did, and you can put some text on top of that as well. And you're going to open up your video by saying that there's no perfect relationship. I've been in many relationships, and I have spoken with friends who've been in many relationships, but not everything is always happy. Even the happiest of couples have arguments, disagreements, and temporary breakups, right? So you're kind of taking your little bit of perspective on it, and you're combining it with this paragraph, and you're turning that into a new video, right? Does that make sense? Again, same concept. You take what's already there. Instead of recreating it from scratch, you add a little bit of intro, you add a little bit of outro, and then you turn that into a new video. The video doesn't need to be super long, but remember, the frequency aspect is important. You need to do it every few days, if not every day. So we've done now a fan page. We have done a tweet already from this particular content. We've done a YouTube video. And then I can go back and see what else we have on the list. There's the, like I said, Facebook group, depends on if you have it or you don't. Eventually, we need to have one. Quora, really, really big network, right? So Quora, let's search there and say Quora relationship in trouble. Okay, so there I'm going to open all of these links, right? Quora, does anyone here not know what Quora is? Say no if you don't know what Quora is. I'll explain it to you. Okay. Okay, some of you don't. So remember back in the day, there used to be Yahoo Answers. Yahoo Answers was quite active. It was basically a portal where people like you and I would go and ask questions, and we would ask questions about, hey, you know, like I need to find this, or I'm struggling with this, what do I do? And random people on the internet would answer those questions. Quora is the new version, sorry, new version of Yahoo Answers, but it's much more credibility driven. It's much more cleaner than Yahoo Answers used to be. So on Quora, you can go and you can post a question, right? And then if other people have posted a question, you can also answer. So this one, what are the top common relationship problems and issues and how does one solve them? You can see, I mean, there's already been 7 answers. And more as well, right here, like good answers too. And you can put up an answer there too. Right, so I could add a comment. I could, wait, let me just find that box. So I could click here and I could leave a comment, right? So I could basically answer this question as well based on what I've just found that, you know, typically there are many different things that can be problematic in a relationship, but based on my research, I found 5 key things to be a major hurdle, right? Number 1, or 5 signs that show that there's a major problem. Number 1, you know, you're traveling in different paths. Number 2, this. Number 3, this. Number 4, this. Right? So you can, again, you don't need to paste the entire content from Content Gorilla into Quora, but it does give you a good base to work with to answer those questions. And when you do, you can build up your Quora profile like I have done as well. You can add links back to your website. So when you answer, you know, people see, okay, who's this guy? And they see what company you work at. Right, so if I click on Abhishek Tiwari's link, you'll see that he's got a link back to his website, which by the way also helps with SEO. Right, so if you're doing SEO, Quora is a very high authority domain, so you get a link back from that as well. And sometimes, just sometimes, news medias also take these Quora answers and turn that into their own article. I've seen content from Quora questions that has made it to BBC website. I mean, that's pretty good branding for you. If your answer got featured on BBC, that's really big. Okay, so that's something you can do as well. You can basically take the videos and you can reverse engineer and find the questions that people are asking about it, and then you can turn that into, essentially you can turn that into a valuable post that helps people and that gets you sales. Okay, that's the third channel. If I go back to this drawing, there's also Reddit. I don't use Reddit very much, but Reddit has a lot of, it's a bit like Quora, but it's a bit more wild west, and there's a lot more open conversations having there all the time. Like, you can't be overly promotional there. But if I was to go to Reddit, if I was to search for, say, relationship problems, I'll find a lot of channels, a lot of communities, like, see, with 1.6K members. So I could go in there, and if someone's having relationship issues, I can answer them. Right, so someone's talking about, hey, my girlfriend and I don't get along because we always keep fighting, and I think she's abusing me as well. Do you think I should get out of it? Like, that's your sign. Like, yeah, I mean, abuse in a relationship is one of the biggest issues, right? And you can almost quote this paragraph and right from here, and you can say, by this I mean emotional, physical, or any other kind of abuse. So if your partner is abused in any way, it's a clear sign they should at least consider leaving. Right? So again, you take the wisdom from the internet. I mean, make sure it's good. Obviously, don't post about, I don't know, the earth is flat, I guess, but take good wisdom from the internet and help other people with it. And that will drive traffic back to your websites. That will drive traffic back to your landing pages where you're building, where you're generating leads. Leads which you can then promote to all the time, right? In this link actually that I shared, by the way, and I'm not going to go into this in too much detail right now, but it was about a 25-minute long call. But in this link, I talked to our set of customers from another product, and I told them that, hey, if you're generating 100 leads a week, that's it, 100 leads a week, and then you've got a value ladder like this, you could basically be making $86,000 a year if you're generating consistently 100 email leads every single week. So yeah, that's possible. Easily. Now, if I go back to this drawing here, we have Reddit, we have LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn's really big, especially for B2B. So if you are trying to sell, professional products, if that's your goal, if you're not doing e-commerce, then LinkedIn is a really good place to be. Twitter is good as well, as I said, for engagement-driven questions. WordPress.com is kind of like your own self-hosted WordPress site, but it's a separate entity. And then you also have Medium. Medium's really good where you kind of have your own blog post, and you can actually copy paste that blog post into Medium as well with a few changes so that your link stays to be the original one. I mean, I won't go into that, but you can Google it. You can find how to post on Medium. Right? You can drive traffic from Content Gorilla to using all these places. Like, to all these places you can publish content. And then in all these places you have links that go back to your email list. And you just keep doing that over and over. And again, please understand that I don't need you to spend a lot of time doing this. You literally only need to spend, say, about, I would say, half an hour a day or a couple of hours a day if you're really into it. And you will be able to generate a ton of leads. And I mean, I'm quoting basically 100 leads a week by doing this. So my question then to you is that, does it sound doable? All I've done here is I've taken high quality content from Content Gorilla and I have curated that to multiple places. Okay. Magnus is asking, if you are self-promoting, what will Quora do then? Nothing. I mean, there's absolutely no problem with self-promotion, but you can't be like, hey, this is the best product in town, go click here and buy it. That's never a good idea. Instead, make it value-driven. And yes, if it's organic, you can link to your product as well. You can link to your landing page, but don't force it, right? Just don't force it. Like, for example, if you go out on a date with someone, you're not going to try and sell them a new property, right? It's a very different dynamic. It's a different kind of relationship. Same way when you go answer a question in Quora, if you're answering questions about relationship abuse, you're not going to try and sell a product on how to make money online, right? I mean, maybe if you're really good at copywriting, you can segue from, hey, if you want to get out of this relationship abuse, you have to make your own money. Here's a product that teaches you how to do that, which is still a terrible segue, but, just focus on helping and solving the problem.